Hello, Internet people. So, my computer died and I had to restart. So, welcome to another episode of Thomas Aylett's personal opinions about personality, union, blah, 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 etc. Brought to you by GroovyTieSquad.com. Buy some awesome ties from my wife because they're awesome. Let's see. So, in our last episode, we talked about all this stuff that I need to give a name. I'm calling it like quadras or something like that, which is the organization of personality types into groups based on cognitive function, stack, and stuff. That's them. So in at the end of that, I promised to talk about all this stuff here, which is the way that I'm typing folks using spectrums within spectrums within spectrums and stuff. Yeah, exactly. So, for example, typing somebody as a double observer, a decider / double observer. Correct. Yeah, a decider, single decider / double observer versus a single observer / double decider. So I have this spectrum thing over here, and I've got people over on this side who are in the one group, people over here who are in the other group. So both Derren Brown and Neil deGrasse Tyson are the same when it comes to observer-decider coin, the spectrum of observer-decider. And yeah, so as I add more people, it'll be like, okay, where do they fit here? Are they more in this group of people, or are they more in this group of people? And based on the vibe that I'm getting off of them, I will put them into one group or the other. This is a slightly different way of typing than the Dave and Shan do it. But if you'll go back to the quadras, Dave and Shan are both in the ST Play realm of things, NT Blast, NF Sleep, and SF Consume. So they're going to do things. What seems normal to them is going to be different than what seems normal to my cousins. So for me and my cousins, I'm trying to figure out what is kind of our style of typing, what feels natural to us, what works best for us. So this is what I'm experimenting with currently. I haven't nailed down what is the perfect thing yet, but I'm kind of working towards it. So here's another group here. So here's the spectrum of thinking, feeling, FE, FI, TE, TI. So for example, if I got Neil deGrasse Tyson to type, is he a thinker or a feeler? My first bias guess would be, he's probably, in the thinker side of things. Okay, but is he TE or TI? I'm like, well, he seems more TI, so I'll put him kind of down there until I watch more videos of him and like, okay, he seems even more TI than that. And then if I see another video, I'm like, well, he actually seems more FE in this video, so I'll just kind of keep moving him around until stops moving in that direction. I'm seeing, more things pulling him towards this gravitational well down here, which is a topic that might excite him. And so, that is in line with how Dave and Shan typed him also. So he's in this quadrant. But Derren Brown, okay, well, he's watching videos about him and like, okay, where does he land? And then what's his name? Whose name I forget. What is he like? And then, so for him, when I typed him, I got his type wrong. And I got it wrong because I didn't do all the cross checks properly. I wasn't using this system. I wasn't using this grid thing properly. And if I had used it, it would have been immediately obvious. Because, like, it immediately jumped over. So, you know, I plopped him. So imagine doing this again. Plop him down right in the middle. Don't know anything about this guy. Where's he go? See, you know, T-E-F-I, T-I-F, well, what do we know? So you watch some videos of him. Okay, he seems more feelery. Okay, so I'll move him to the left. Okay, seems even more feelery than that. I'm like, okay, he's super feelery. All right, but is that F-E or F-I? Well, what are the cross checks? So I added some notes up here. So the FEs are going to be externally shared feelings versus what? Versus personal private feelings of the FI folks. You know, when it comes to feelings, FI people, it's their feelings. And they are less likely to share their feelings with other people. Whereas the FE people, feelings are not personal and private. Feelings are feelings. They're just, you know, it's just feelings. It's no big deal. It's feelings. Everybody's got them, whatever. It's not personal, it's not private. It's just feelings. And FE people cares about what people care about. And FI people just care about stuff. They're not as interested in what other people care about. They care about what they care about. They're less interested in what other people care about. So now, this guy, whose name I forget, I really need to remember the names, does he care what other people care about? Does he personal and private about his feelings? Do his feelings go inward and power him? Is that his source of power and strength? Is that his personal private thing that gives him power and motivates him? Or is it just like not a big deal? It's just, you know, what happens? You know, sees the spectrum. It's not a big deal. It's just cares about what other people care about. It's just like that. Like even Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's like, when it comes to feelings, what style of feelings does Neil deGrasse Tyson have? Is his internal power, is his internal drive an emotionally fueled drive? Is he powered from his internal emotional state driving him forward? Or are feelings just not a big deal to him? Feelings are feelings, you know. Like, where does he land on this side? And, you know, Dave and Chan typed him as Neti, N-E-T-I. So he'd be over here. His personal power, his personal source of inner strength and motivation comes from his personally curated truth and understanding of what works for him and his internal drive. Same for these guys. It's still the internal drive of these folks. These folks are not internally driven by an internal personal, private, emotional state. Like, look at this face. Is this a guy who has personal, private, protected feelings? Or is this somebody who's like, feelings, they're just out there, whatever. Right? Now he is a much more introverted person, in some ways. But are feelings a big deal to him? No, feelings are a game to be manipulated. Now look at this face, right? Need I go on? So, yeah. But her. Are feelings no big deal to her? Feelings, whatever. Martha Stewart. Feelings. Or is she like, feelings? Right? Is she serious about feelings? Is she protective of her feelings or feelings? all the feelings. But when it comes to ideas and thoughts and thinking, she's just like, thoughts, ideas. It's like, that's compared to NDT over here. Like, is her personal, private, internal motivation her own source of truth and thoughts and reasons? There's just reasons, thoughts, truth. She's just like, here's 50 of them. Here's a whole stack of them. Like, they're not mine. They're just ideas. Whatever. No big deal. So she'd be more up here. When it comes to thinking, boom, Martha's up here. She's like, thoughts, ideas, reasons. No big deal. Yours, mine, everybody's. I'm not personal. I'm not private. They're not. Sorry, my hair is just going crazy. Anyway. It's all about the hair, bro. Yeah, Martha, just ideas, thoughts, reasons, whatever. She's not gonna, like, if you said, you know, that reason doesn't really work for me, she'd be like, all right. She doesn't care. But with these guys, you're like, that reason doesn't, that seems like a stupid reason. These people are gonna be more sensitive about that. Like, hey, what do you mean? Like, just like, it's a more sensitive area. And you're like, nah, that's stupid. Like, what do you mean, stupid? Like, if you call one of her ideas stupid, she'll be like, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. I'm sorry. If you call her ideas stupid, she's just like, okay, you say so, moron. She's not gonna say that out loud, probably, but, you know, she's thinking it. It's just not a big deal. Thoughts, ideas, reasons, not a big deal to her. Him, you call his ideas stupid, he'll think you're stupid. But that they're still his. He's not as sensitive about it because he's just more concrete on it. But they're still more refined, more his. There are fewer of them. He's not going to be like, we, ideas, reasons. They're like, ideas, reasons. You know, it's more serious. It's more curated. Whereas her feelings are more curated. They're more refined. She, you know, her personal priorities of what she likes and what she prefers is like, it's much more serious and much more refined and much more thought through. Her reasons, just like, she's got a bunch of reasons. She's got all reasons for days. But her feelings are much more seriously, you know what I mean? But, you know, is she TE or FI? So, like she's both, right? You could say she's both. But she seems a little bit more this side than that side. Why? Because she's just so much more introverted, and she's so much more refined in her precision of her feeling state. Yeah, I need more examples of TE up here. So anyway, that's kind of an example of the spatial orientation of the types. There's like a gravitational pull in different directions, and you can't just type one coin at a time. It's like that's kind of the official Davin-Shan dogma of how you're supposed to type, is like one coin at a time. But like, in reality, for me at least, it just doesn't work for me. I get confused. It doesn't make sense. I do it wrong. I feel bad. I feel worthless because I can't do it. But this works. It's like, okay, is it just like, are they in this group or that group? It's like, yeah. Anyway, I need more specific examples of these folks. So here's another example. So now in this group over here, I've got Martha Stewart and Thomas Aylett in the same group. Like, what? They were on opposite sides over here, but they're the same over here because we're talking about different stuff. this is the temperaments. You know, both Martha Stewart and I are SF first as our temperament. And, you know, Darren Brown's more SF, or NF rather. And Tony Horton's more ST, you know, etc. And now here's an example of all the people in this group have the same fourth animal. We are all sleep fourth. You know, that is the similarity of people in this group. So I still need to fill this out with more people who are kind of the opposite of this. And here's another way to think about it. The animal teams. So imagine you take two animals, you put them in one of those the things that go around a yoke. When you yoke two animals together and they're pulling as a team, that's what this group does. So these are the play blasters. He's blast play, he's play blast, but they both have those two, you know, yoked together right next to each other. So actually, so does he. Notice he's got these two ox yoked together, play blast, right next to each other, which means that he's more play blast than other play consume people, but he's more play consume than he is play blast. You know, it's spectrums within spectrums. So him, I would technically move him up here a little bit, kind of in between play blast and play consume. You know, he's not right in the middle because he's not, you know, some kind of android robot thing. He's not that. He's not just this. He's this and a little bit of that. So he's kind of up here, sort of. But, you know, when typing somebody and you don't know their type, you just kind of, you plonk them down in the middle, and then just kind of move them in a direction that feels right based on the evidence that you're seeing. Like, okay, this person's more extroverted, so move them up here. It's like, but is that, you know, are they more, you know, where's the data flow? What's the direction of data flow? Is it more coming in than going out, or is it more going out than coming in? And that sort of thing. So I need to refine that some more and iterate on it a little bit. Now here's another way to organize things. There's another spectrum of spectrums. So here I've started to write out some stuff. So just as we talked about when it comes to feelings, you know, feelings are either feelings, or, you know, reasons are reasons, all the reasons, all the feelings, whatever, no big deal. Versus, no, these are my feelings. Oh no, this is my idea. It's personal, it's private, it's more serious. Don't mess with my stuff. Don't, you know, get off my lawn. That kind of vibe about that thing. And SI folks are more, you know, get off my literal lawn. Don't touch my stuff. Don't steal my fries. Don't use my camera. It's my stuff. Don't touch my stuff. They're prickly when it comes to their stuff. So Martha Stewart's like, this is my stuff. Like, I'll share it. I'll talk about it. I'll talk all day. I'll talk about it. Don't come into my area and touch my stuff. No. You, like, look at her. What do you think would happen to you if you went into her kitchen and just rearranged everything? Would you survive? Like, don't touch her stuff. Her stuff. But, like, these guys, it's just stuff. If you went into Tony Horton's bedroom and, like, rearranged all his furniture, he'd probably be annoyed. But it's, he might think it was fun. Like Thomas Ayla, like, if you come into my office and, like, rearrange some stuff, I'll be frustrated. I'll be annoyed. But not, like, it's not, like, war. It's like, it's just stuff. It's a bunch of stuff. Doesn't really matter. I don't take it that personally, you know? And versus and then when on the other side of the spectrum, it's like concepts. So Darren Brown, his concepts are his. He doesn't really even talk about them much because they're his. He uses them, but they're like personal, private concepts that he uses. He doesn't, and he uses in interesting, fun ways. He's quite an interesting character, but he's more of a these are mine. These are my concepts. Get off my conceptual lawn, I guess. And that's kind of where Dave and Shan both live in this area down here. Also, there's like, these are our concepts. Like, we're sharing them, but we're not really interested in your opinion about these concepts. We're working on them. We got it. Like, ours. And they're like iterating it, and they're taking lots of feedback, but they're taking feedback. The feedback doesn't touch the system directly. It's more indirect of like, oh, okay, I'll consider that. I'll think about. You don't mess with the concept directly. Yeah, okay, I'll listen to that, and I'll like, okay, that's a good idea that I'll take from your ideas, and I'll use that to build up my concepts. But you don't touch my concepts. Versus Phil DeFranco and Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's concepts, all the concepts. So you got a new concept? Sure. Take them, all of it. Every single one. All the bad concepts, good concepts, all of it. And we'll play. It's fun. Concepts, yay. They're not personal. They're not protected. They're just concepts. All the things. It's fun. And compare that to, these guys with stuff. It's stuff. Yay. Wee. Marcus Brownlee is also up here. So, stuff. Look at all this stuff. Look at all these phones. Look at all the stuff they do. Wee. I don't think he's literally ever said wee in his life, but I would love to see that. If you have a video of Marcus Brownlee saying wee, please send it to me. That would be just delightful. It's just stuff to these guys. But it's like stuff. But when it comes to concepts, she probably doesn't want to hear about it. But it's just concepts. All the concepts. Whatever. It's fun. She doesn't seem like she would have a lot of fun talking about all the concepts, because of this over here. The low PC. It's like, when she gets silly, she gets this kind of silly. This is her style of silly. When he gets silly, he gets this kind of silly. Stuff is not serious to him. Concepts are serious to him. They're serious and personal. So that's kind of the conceptual space when it comes to this, the observers. And there's another thing that I'm working on, which is all of the human needs as like a spatial orientation thing. So you're typing somebody, you plonk them down in the middle. I know nothing about this person. You start to hear something. It's like, oh, they care about their significance. Oh, they care about connecting with people. Oh, they care about new. Oh, they care about old. So you just kind of drag them around based on, what it is their vibe is giving off of what they care about. So like Martha Stewart, she cares about certainty. She wants things to be, that's her life is all about, making things more certain, making things more certain. So that you can build on top of that. So you can be free and have fun. Freedom comes from being certain about all these things, and that's the basis of how we have fun. And her significance of, I say I'm awesome, why doesn't everybody get on board? And everybody's getting on board because she's really good at, she's grown herself and her identity, and she's sharing that. That's great. This guy here, more in this corner. Not straight up connection, not straight variety, just in between variety and connection. A little bit higher in the connection area than variety, but so the struggle is going to be in significance and certainty. You know, Martha Stewart's greatest, let's see, where she has shined really well, what has made her shine is not getting better at this. She's good at this. She was born good at this. She was going to be good at certainty and significance on accident. Like, she has no problem figuring out what she likes. No problem. No problem seeing herself as important and valuable. No problem. She does not have issues dealing with, maybe I'm actually worthless. No. She does not struggle with this. What has probably been more of a struggle for her, you know, earlier on in her career was being more open to variety, being more open to sharing things with others. And that's why it's such a huge deal that she is coming out with so much variety and coming out with sharing things with people. And that's why she's gotten to be so useful and so valuable, is because she's kind of done the whole board. She's across the board owning everything. But like, what did she have to struggle at? What did she have to learn? What did she have to get good at? It's like, she's born with this. Boom. Like, and she's mastered this. You know? So like this guy over here, born with this. It's like being casually open to variety of experiences and new like, sure, no problem. Connecting with others, having random conversations in the grocery store, sure, it's the most natural thing in the world. But issues with worthlessness, yeah, a struggle to feel like, you know what, I'm valuable because I say so, based on my terms. Like, that's more of a thing that this type of person learns later on in life. That's more of a struggle, more of a discovery. Like, you know what? Wait, I'm not worthless because I say so. Whoa. You think Martha Stewart has ever said that? Nah. Like, I'm valuable because I say so. Like, out of the womb, in the first words, I'm valuable because I say so. This guy, I'm valuable? I can say them that I'm valuable? Really? Okay. It's just, you know, people are different. You need to do everything, but what comes first? What's easy? What do you learn later? Yeah, so yeah. And so when you're typing somebody, so let's grab a random person. So let's grab Neil deGrasse Tyson. So let's stick him on here and type him with this grid. So what is obviously easy to him? Variety? Does he struggle with that? Did he have to learn to accept variety? Or did he have to learn to accept certainty and codifying things? And, you know, he probably learned all this in college, but does this excite him? Is he, like, ruining his life because he's so addicted to shutting out new information and like, no, let's stick with the old, the tried and true, the traditional? Like, is that his addiction? Or as a kid, was he more like, wee, new concepts, all the new concepts, space and time and science and yay. It's like, yeah, he's more on this side than that side. Like, he does both. He's good at everything. It's great. But, you know, which was first and which did he learn later? And then significance versus connection? Is this a guy who's like, am I worthless? Are my ideas worth thinking about? Are they valuable? Are my reasons, like, nah, my reasons, I got them. It's like obvious that his reasons are valuable and interesting, and like, let's go all in. This is the thing. Reasons for days. Nerd style reasons specifically. And he's also great up here. You know, connection, like contributing, tribe validation, connection. Does he struggle at all with this? He seems great at it. But do you think that, like, as a kid, talking to people in the grocery store, was he the person, like, having a chat with the grocery store person, or was he the one, like, oh, what about science and nerd stuff, and, like, you know, what do you see him coming naturally to do? What did he have to struggle at and learn to do later? You know? It's like, he's the uber nerd, right? He's like the super friendly, chatty, extroverted nerd. So he's kind of, you know, across the spectrum of both of these things. So he's kind of in the middle here, but kind of on this side of the middle, kind of over here, right? So that's kind of, you know, if you didn't already know his type, that's kind of how you'd type him. It's just like, it feels over here-ish. This is my style, how I do it. So then later on, once I, you know, type somebody in all these spectrums within spectrums of within spectrums, then the process later is like crunching the numbers of, okay, this is how I've typed this person. So like he seems like significance and variety, which is more like technically more introverted, but he doesn't seem introverted at all. So like in the introvert extrovert spectrum, I don't have one of those. I'll make one of those later. Like I'd stick him way on the edge of super extroverted, but he seems also like super, like, if he's TI, that's kind of introverted. So where does he land as far as the larger spectrum of extroverted to introverted, you know, compared to everybody? You know, compare him to Will Smith. You know, who's more extroverted? Or compare him to Lily Singh. Who's more extroverted? It's not a big competition. And then, so let's find his quadra specifically. So yeah, so Neil deGrasse Tyson, he seems like way more extroverted than Jordan Peterson, but Jordan Peterson seems way more extroverted than Tim Cook. And Jordan Peterson seems like a different universe of extroverted compared to like Robert Greene. But compared to Shane Dawson, well, okay, that's a different kind of very extroverted. And then like Chael Sonnen, like, whoa, that's a different kind of extremely extroverted, right? So relative to one another, it's like super extroverted relative to these guys, but compared to all of their cousins, super introverted relative to like these guys. But even within up here, Brittany Snow is going to seem way more introverted than Neil deGrasse Tyson, because the modalities, you know, the little white dotted lines, makes a huge difference in the general vibe of a person. So that's something that's kind of missing from the Daven Shan's grid, is like the general vibe of a person. You know, like the general vibe of Will Smith versus Gary Vee, It's like, whoa, Gary Vee is just so much more extroverted than Will Smith. But Will Smith compared to, like, Benedict Cumberbatch, yeah. Whoa, so much more extroverted than Benedict. But then, like, Chael Sonnen, boom, he's more up there with Gary Vee in the extremely extroverted vibe, because it's just it's very, very direct when it comes to people. Seems so much more extroverted because it's just right there. But Will Smith is a little bit more squishy when it comes to people, less prickly when interrupted, but compared to the majority of humans, in general, is going to be just destroy them as far as, like, extrovertedness. It's just spectrums within spectrums within spectrums, bro. And that is Thomas Alot's personal opinion about personality and stuff like that. In our next episode, I will talk about, what shall I talk about? I'll talk about these brain bubble dealies, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe keep that secret information that only I know.